This message is inspired by a comment made on the video I posted. First, I want to express my appreciation for taking the time to engage with my content. I see your perspective, but I believe this issue goes beyond simply asking for consideration. I don't think President Trump is trying to make the lives of the alphabet community difficult. He is not interrupting what people do in their sexual lives. People's ever-changing sexual lives shouldn't become a law. Life is so simple, but we unnecessarily complicate it. As the leader of the nation, his responsibility is to restore order and uphold fundamental values. Likewise, as ministers of the gospel, we are called to restore spiritual clarity through prayer and by standing for the truth. Genuine compassion, according to Scripture, does not affirm confusion, but instead leads people to truth and righteousness. John 8:32. While every individual deserves dignity and respect, the Bible clearly states that God created only two genders, male and female. Genesis 1:27. Any deviation from this is not a matter of identity, but a sign of a world that has turned away from God's truth. Romans 1:26-28. The idea that certain groups should receive special recognition based on self-identified gender ideologies contradicts biblical teachings. The law should be applied equally to all, Leviticus 19:15, and redefining categories beyond what God has ordained only leads to confusion. Something the Scripture explicitly states is not of God, 1 Corinthians 14:33. Why do you think the list of gender identities keeps expanding? Some might argue that pointing this out is being judgmental, referencing Matthew 7:1, which says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." However, it is important to understand this verse in context. Jesus was warning against hypocritical judgment, not against discerning right from wrong. Just a few verses later, he tells us to remove the plank from our own eye so we can see clearly to help others. Matthew 7:5. Throughout Scripture, believers are called to expose falsehoods and correct error with love and truth. Ephesians 5:11, 2 Timothy 4:2. There is a difference between condemning someone and pointing them toward God's truth. True love does not affirm deception but gently guides people back to righteousness. Furthermore, affirming gender transitions, especially for children, is a dangerous path that leads to lifelong physical and emotional struggles. Some have reported lifelong dependence on medication just to stay alive. Is this not wickedness? Jesus warned against leading children into harm, Matthew 18:6. Instead of promoting irreversible procedures, we should hold accountable those who push these changes for profit and social conformity. Leadership, whether in government or ministry, has a duty to uphold truth and righteousness, not to endorse ideologies that contradict God's word.